Hi guys, this is Ravi. Today we are going to discuss about the topic called apparent motion of the sun. Introduction to apparent motion of the sun. The sun appears to the move across the sky throughout the day. This apparent motion is caused by the rotation of the earth. Why this apparent motion of the sun occurs due to the rotation of the earth, not the sun moving itself. This phenomena is also responsible for the day and the light is a key factor for the understanding the earth seasons. The earth rotation and the apparent motion of the sun. The earth spins on its own axis and completing its one rotation approximately every 24 hours at every one day. As the earth rotates and in the different part of the earth face the earth and result in the day in a day and the night. The sun movement. From our perspective on earth, the sun appears to the rise in the east and travels across the sky and the set in the west. As we know, that's the perspective on the earth. As the earth rotation, the apparent motion is the result with the earth rotation on the earth rotation on the different parts of earth rotates on its own axis and the different part of the earth faces to the sun at the different time, and this is due to the earth rotates on its own axis. The sun path across the sun's path across the sky. How there is a picture shown in the figure. The sun apparent path across the sky is the various throughout the year due to the Earth tilts and it is elliptical orbit around the sun. So how the sun rises? The sun appears to the rise in the east, and the solar sun noon. The sun reaches to the highest point in the sky, as shown in the figure, as shown here. And the sunset, the sun appears to the set in the west, and it rises from the east and rests where try to be sets on the west. Next, the changes and altitude of the sun throughout the day. How the changes of the sun changes of the sun through sunrise throughout the day. Like sun altitude or the in angle above the horizon, the changes throughout the day. It is highest at the solar noon and the lowest at the sunrise and the sunset. It is higher and the highest altitude like it is in a 42 latitude is highest at this solar noon and it lowest at the 20, this sunset and sunrise. As the sun rises, the sun is low on the horizon and casting out the long shadow. Whereas in the solar night, the sun is at the highest point in the sky and casting short shadow. And whereas in the sunset, the sun is low and horizon and casting it the long shadow. The changing length of the daylight and hours. The length of the daylight hours is varies throughout the year due to the Earth tilts and its orbit around the sun. Days are longer in the summer and the shorter in the winter. The Ivai Disu summer solstice. The longest day of the year with the most daylight hours. Where the winter has the shortest day of the year with the least daylight hours. Where the equal hours of the daylight and the darkness. This is the changes length of the daylight and the hours. The seasons and the sun apparent motion. The Earth tilts on its own axis and combine with their orbit around the sun and causes the season. Different parts of the Earth receives the varying amount of the sunlight throughout the year. As we know, the summer the hemispherical tilt towards the sun experiences longer days and warm temperature because the Earth is comes near to the sun, so it is experienced with the summer. Whereas the hemispherical tilted away from the sun and experience shorter day to the colder temperature which the earth will be moved forward and it will reach us to backward at the winter season. The sun moves longer distance from the sun. As the spring and fall, the traditional season, the sun and the earth will be the like normal temperature across a day and the night. Whereas the solistic and the sun, solistics and the sun highest and the lowest point, where the solistic marks the point in the Earth orbit when the sun reaches in the highest and the lowest point in the sun. The summer rises in the solistic in the longest day of the year, where the winter solistic is the shortest day of the year. Where the summer solistic, the sun reaches its highest points in the sky, and it is in a northern hemisphere. Where the winter solistic, the sun reaches its lowest point in the sky in the northern hemisphere. The equinox in the sun position at the sunrise and sunset. The equinox occurs when sun is directly above the equator and resulting in the equal hours. Where sun is at the middle of the equator and result the equal hours of the day light and the day darkness across the globe. And this means the sun rises exactly due to the east and the sets exactly due to west on the equinox. There are two types of equinox, whereas a vernal equinox and autumnal equinox occurs around the March 20 or 21, marking beginning of the spring in the northern hemisphere. Whereas the autumnal equinox there occurs around the September 22nd or 23rd, marking the beginning of the autumn in the northern hemisphere. There are two in this way there are vernal equinox and autumnal equinox where they experience the occurrence of the spring seasons. Now, what are the effects of the latitude on the sun apparent motion? Like, what are the effects will be occurs when the sun apparent motion? When sun apparent motion is affected by the latitude, the highest the latitude, the greater the difference in the length of the daylight hour between the summer and the due to the highest latitude, the greatest difference in the length of the daylight hour between the summer and the winter. And the equator. At the equator, the sun is directly overhead at the noon and twice a year, which is relatively equal hours of the daylight and the darkness throughout the year, which is at the equator than at the noon twice a year with the relatively equal hours of the daylight and the darkness throughout the year. Where in the northern hemisphere, hemisphere, the sun apparent path across the sky changes dramatically throughout the year, with the longest days in the summer and shortest days in the winter. And what we conclude in today's lesson, understanding the apparent motion of the sun, how the apparent motion of the sun is fascinating and phenomenon that the shape of our understanding the world around us. By studying this sun's path across the sky, we can gain insight in the Earth rotation, tilts its and its orbit around the sun. We can see conclude that the Earth rotates itself and rotates itself and across 24 hours. Through this the earth can be changes the different times of the season, and through the sun beam of rays falls on the earth and different in the different regions. So, as we conclude that these are the apparent motion of the suns and the earth we can see in our daily life. Thank you.